Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are going to bridge a gap that, let's be honest, most of us have felt. The one between the math we learn in a classroom and how it actually matters in the real world. So, let's kick things off with a simple question. Seriously, think about it. For a lot of you, the answer might be, high school? Or maybe never? And look, that's totally fair. It often feels like these abstract ideas have absolutely no place in our day-to-day lives. But what if I told you they're secretly powering some of the biggest decisions you will ever make? You see, the way we teach advanced math is starting to change. The whole point is shifting away from just, memorizing formulas so you can pass a test. There's a much bigger and way more practical goal in mind now.
And here's the mission statement, really. The goal is to get past just memorizing stuff and move toward a really deep, genuine understanding. It's about building up your critical thinking muscles so you can look at a real-world problem and figure out which tools you need to solve it. The idea isn't to make everyone a mathematician, but to create a whole new generation of highly capable mathematical thinkers. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it actually look like? How do you take something like, say, an advanced algebraic expression and make it useful? Well, we're going to look at one of the most direct and honestly most powerful ways these concepts apply to you, and that's personal finance. Yep, this is exactly where those abstract equations start to have a very, very real impact on your life. In fact, one of the most powerful financial ideas you could ever learn is built directly on the principles of exponential growth. The stuff you'd see in an advanced algebra class. And that concept is the magic of compounding, or compound interest. This is the absolute engine of building wealth, and it is pure mathematics in action. So what is it exactly? Let's break it down real quick. With simple interest, you only earn interest on the money you first put in. It's steady, sure, but it's slow. Compound interest, though, that's a whole different ballgame. It's like a feedback loop. You earn interest on your initial amount and on all the interest you've already piled up. It's literally interest on your interest. And when you see it visually, wow, the difference is just staggering. You start with the same $1,000. With simple interest, it grows predictably. But with compounding, that growth starts to accelerate. That huge gap between the two bars, that's not just a small difference, that is the raw power of an exponential curve. That gap is your money making more money for you. So how can we actually calculate this? How do we plan for this kind of amazing growth? Well, it turns out the perfect tool for the job is something you probably saw back in algebra class. This might look a little familiar, right? This is the compound interest formula, and it's a perfect example of advanced algebra in the wild. A is the final amount you end up with. P is your principal, the cash you start with. I is the interest rate, and N is the number of years. By plugging in the numbers, you can literally solve for your financial future. This is that high school math, but for your actual life. Okay, the formula is super precise, which is great, but let's be real, you're probably not going to whip out a calculator to solve for N while you're planning your budget over coffee. Luckily, there is a brilliant little mental math trick for this. It's called the Rule of 72, and it's so simple but so powerful. All you do is take the number 72 and divide it by your annual interest rate. The number you get is a pretty good estimate of how many years it'll take for your investment to double. So if you're getting a 7% return, it'll take about 10 years to double your money. It's an awesome shortcut. And this is where it all comes together. We started with this big idea about education. We looked at a concrete formula, and now we have a simple rule of thumb. Every single one is a tool to help you make smarter financial decisions in the real world. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Understanding these ideas is what empowers you to actually plan your life. These aren't just numbers on a page anymore. They are the fundamental building blocks for hitting your biggest goals, whether that's saving for school or even starting your own company. And it's not just you. Think about it. Financial advisors use these exact same calculations to map out the future for their clients. Investors rely on them to plan for retirement. Economists even use these principles to figure out big things like job growth. The takeaway is clear. This math is absolutely everywhere, working behind the scenes. Which brings us right back to where we started. The real reason to learn these advanced concepts isn't so you can solve for X in a textbook. It's to build the mental framework you need to understand complex systems, to plan for the future, and to become a truly capable thinker who can use these powerful ideas to shape your own life.
So the next time you think about advanced math, try not to see it as some boring hurdle you had to get over in school. See it for what it is, a toolkit for building your future. Which leads me with one last question for you to chew on. What could you achieve if math wasn't just a subject? What if it was your own personal superpower?